morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We are on episode 125. Just me and Tim Cook today. Lisa couldn't join us, but she will join us in the future, so don't think she got demoted after her last performance. It was really good, but we got to talk about the NFL and college football. Yes, if you're a Cover 2 Cook listener, that's what we talk about, but we got new news for the college and NFL. And week 0 is upon us for college football. NFL, there's a bunch of news. We got a couple weeks, kind of just leading it in there. But week 0 is upon us in college football. So we got to talk about what do we got Saturday. We ain't got a full slate. We got a little appetizer. So Cover 2 Cook will give you on all that stuff. And then we got to finish with Tim's favorite bets. He'll give you what he thinks for betting on this weekend, as it's not a full slate, half slate, but he'll give you a half rack of ribs. So if we're ready, let's get it started.
Yeah, I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Socks.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm here for Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, I warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes. All right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
All right. Thank you so much for joining episode 125. As we have NFL news right off the bat, we got to talk about America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Brian Schottenheimer expects Micah to play for season opener. What did you think when you heard this? Since he doesn't have a contract or doesn't have anything new, what did you think when you heard of this?
I don't believe it. I think this goes into the season. You know, CD got his deal, Dak got his deal. It just feels different. It feels like Jerry got betrayed by this because there was an offer back in March or April for the contract, and he kind of backed out. Micah did. And I just feel different. I don't think he will be there week 1. I really don't. I think there's too much water under the bridge. The bridges are starting to get burnt. I don't know if they'll trade him, but I think I can see him not playing until maybe week 3 or week 4. They did that to Emmitt Smith back in the 90s. I could see that happening again.
Yeah, I don't see that happening only on the aspect of that Brian is not the coach that they used to have, where he does his thing. He is a follower to Jerry. And it sounds like Jerry's passing the information off to him saying, hey, you'll have him week 1. You'll have him. So the contract, everyone wants to say, well, this, like, Jerry does this for drama and stuff. But one thing he does is when it comes time, he gets on his hands and knees and signs that check, just like everyone else does. And that's where I think it doesn't make any sense. I mean, why not go into the season with your best defensive player? It's going to happen. I think if Brian would have came out and said, I don't know, then I would be a little bit more weary. But the fact that he's like, no, he'll be there. He'll be here. It's over.
Here's another thing, too, Anthony. He's got back issues going on right now, too, as well, which nobody knows about.
But is it back issues or is it back issues?
Right. Would he be playing week 1 if the back issues were that bad?
Yeah, because I feel like, it's going to lead us to our next topic, but I didn't know McLaurin had an ankle injury.
Right.
Did you know that?
No.
I didn't know that the D lineman for the Steelers, he's got some injury.
Right.
Hayward. Yeah. He's got an injury. No, it's all about the goddamn money. And I'll say I got an ankle injury, but that actually leads us to our second news in the NFL. Dan Quinn starts off with his press conference saying, I'm not going to play Where's Waldo. When it comes to McLaurin and these other players, he's a player that has an injury. Once he gets back, we will play him. But until then, I don't know where it is. I love it. Shut it right off the bat. Now, the media wouldn't do their job if they're not still asking those same questions right after you say that. But McLaurin's got an injury. Well, now he's been cleared. So now it's getting closer to when he could be able to play. That's what Dan Quinn said. I think this one is actually a scary situation. Because if Dan Quinn is already kind of having a little frustration, that might be how the practice went, but I also might be, he's not happy that he ain't got his best wide receiver out there right now, and it needs to get done. So I'm done. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. That's between the GM and the player. I'm done. What did you think when you heard this?
Yeah, and you might be talking right that this isn't but probably because every day they're talking about this McLaurin deal.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I've got enough weapons with my wide receiver. I got Debo Samuel. I've got other people. I've got a running back. I've got one of the better quarterbacks in the league and a defense that is pretty darn good. We'll go without him. We don't care. So let's go. I mean, I think he's trying to put it to bed. He probably is getting frustrated because his best player isn't on the field.
Yeah, well, and I think not just that, McLaurin, but you also have the Brian Robinson or whatever junior. Is he the junior? Yeah, because there's.
I think he is. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because no, he's not the junior. Which one's the one at Jaguars? I thought he was the junior.
That's Brian Thomas.
Okay, Brian Robinson. Jesus. Can we think of other names? I don't know. Anthony Cook ain't in the league yet, so
right.
But yeah, no, I think when you talk about the running back, the wide receiver. And I think a little bit of it too is if I was a Commanders fan, we get a little bit of success and look what the fuck happens. Now we got to deal with this. The success didn't even lead to a goddamn Super Bowl. And look at the Eagles on the other side. They win the Super Bowl and this guy gets paid. This guy, well, hey, we're going to move on from you, but we're going to get – it just seems smoother. And I can understand Dan Quinn in this situation. Like, let's just play some goddamn football. Stop talking about contracts. Stop talking about injuries. Let's go and play, hike the ball. And I just love that. Where's Waldo? That is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, and also, too, Anthony, he's like, all the players right now are itching just to get the season started. Coaches are probably the same way. Man, you can only coach them so much. You can only do so much. Man, let's go. It's his time. And the fans are probably the same way. Let's go. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. I'm done beating up on each other. It's time to go start beating up on someone else. Which led into, I did see today that there was a fight. I don't know, the two teams that were in training camp fighting. Yep. You expect it, and you love it.
Well, Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons got into it yesterday.
Yeah.
2 days Cam kind of knocked it down. He's like, we're two competitors. We're ready to go. And we just, got tangled up a little bit. So, he shut it down right away. There was a nothing bar.
Well, Cam came back and actually said, they asked him, and he said that you said Jeffrey?
Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, Jeffrey. He's strong as fuck. That's what he literally said in the thing. Jeffrey came back and it made it seem like we're both competitors. Like Jeffrey's the veteran, where Cam, and I think I love this about Cam. I'm actually becoming a Cam fan. The more and more I hear about him, because he's one of those quarterbacks that's like, I'm not gonna come here to be mediocre. I want to win. It's either you come with me or get out of my way. I do think it was, from what I've read, that it was Cam kind of showing off a little bit, and and he didn't like that too much, and then that's when Cam didn't back down. But yeah, so in other NFL news, Tyson, say his last name?
Badgett.
Yeah, there it is, because I don't know how to say it. For the Chicago Bears, gets a 2-year, $10 million contract. Now, he is the backup to Caleb Williams, and before we get too far into that, I did see his emotional response to that. Obviously, it changes a man's life. It was very exciting. But what did you think when you heard about this?
I think they really like him. I think Ben Johnson really likes him. You don't see 2 years, $10 million contracts for backups.
Yeah,
it does not happen. I think Sidham got 2 years, $10 million a couple years ago for Denver, but you just don't see stuff like that. Yeah. And he got very emotional. I guess apparently when he was younger, he was living in his car, or they didn't have a house, they didn't have running water.
Yep.
And to get from there to here is something I did see on Facebook. His foundation made a donation to, I think, like South Peru football program or something.
Oh, really?
Made a nice donation to them, or somebody. He made a nice donation to one of the local area football programs. So that's through his foundation. So that's not. He's starting to give back. They all give back, but it's just the idea. Yeah, I think that's just awesome. He's shown in the preseason against Buffalo that he does have talent. He has what it takes to maybe be a backup. I don't know if he's a starter, but he's definitely a backup, a strong backup that could get you 2 to 3, maybe 4 games until your starter gets back in the lineup.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think also he's definitely shown, but I think he's a great player to have that has talent that isn't really trying to be like, I need to be the starter. So that helps as well too. I did see that. Isn't this the guy that his dad's an arm wrestler?
I don't know.
Oh, I swear, I think this is because during the draft, he came from a small school, didn't he? And his dad was out there arm wrestling and people. And
really,
yeah, I think he's a good kid. I think the other thing too is we were talking about this, and I think we were talking about this we were talking about this on the last podcast. That if Caleb Williams plays bad, then this guy, no, it won't happen. This guy is a backup quarterback. He will be always a backup quarterback. I think Ben Johnson likes him for possibilities of throwing Caleb out there for a distraction. Because you got to think, Ben Johnson is all about the exciting plays, the craziness, and that's going to come. I did laugh. I don't know if you saw Jahmyr Gibbs said that it just looked exactly like the Lions. Like, just, oh, yeah. And then Ben Johnson came back and said, I'm not putting in new stuff yet. I'm just dusted off a playbook. So there's already a little chirping coming from Detroit and Chicago.
That first game between Detroit and Chicago should be a good one.
And it's in Detroit, so it'll be nice and fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, final news in the NFL, and this is kind of a scary situation. Someone fired a shot into Andy Reid's office last year. Cannot believe that this went under nobody's, yeah. Reid was working alone after midnight when someone fired a shot that went through the window into the office. Now Andy Reid does have bulletproof glass, but who would have thought you wouldn't need that when you're on the Kansas City's, facilities and things like that. Obviously, nobody got hurt. Great. It's an ongoing investigation. One bullet landed up in the drywall of his office. Another one landed on the floor above and one in the AC unit. But, it is kind of sad because the same time you're hearing this, you're not too long ago remembering that in a parade for Kansas City, they had their situation. It's just, sports are supposed to be about promoting, good sportsmanship and fairness and things like this. This evil bullshit, this ain't for the game. So take your ass out of there if you're a fan. You're not a fan. But what did you think when you heard about this?
I would thought maybe they might have took shots at him after they lost the Super Bowl by as much as they did.
No,
but apparently this happened during the season, so the fans shouldn't have too much to complain about since they finished 15-2. But this is not good. I mean, this is, here we go again with maybe we've said this before on previous podcasts. Did somebody think that somebody was there and didn't get their bets in, or? Are you sandbagging Andy Reid? I'll take a pot shot at you because I didn't cover my spread or my 8-leg parlay or whatever. It is sad, and it's just sad that it has to come to that. So. Well,
and you got to remember, they're doing this Kansas Chiefs Kingdom or something, whatever. And Andy Reid's kind of went through a lot in his life. Let's also remember he lost a son to a heroin overdose while he's in Philadelphia. And then obviously shots. I don't care if it's about betting. I don't care if it's a mad player. I don't care if it's a person that's got CTE. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You deserve to be 6 feet deep when you do shit like this. When you put other people in harm like that. And Andy Reid, I mean, the sweetest guy. I love Andy Reid. I'm trying to look like him. Like, I'm trying to eat the cheeseburgers. Like, Andy Reid is like, I don't think a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about this guy. So to hear a shot fired, I'm hoping it was never aimed for him. It was one of these, but a gun going off around a facility, never good news.
It's not good.
All right. NFL's done. We're done. We're done with NFL right now. We got to move to college football because week 0 is upon us. Now, if you're wondering, you hadn't been keeping up, maybe you haven't been watching Cover 2 Cook, who's playing this Saturday? Well, I'll tell you right now, Iowa State is taking on Kansas State in Ireland. Idaho State versus UNLV. Fresno State versus Kansas. Sam Houston versus Western Kentucky. And our wrap-up at the end of the night will be Stanford versus Hawaii. Now, out of all those games, there's one we got to talk about. What game is that, Mr. Tim Cook?
That's got to be the Iowa State-Kansas State game. This is the marquee game. I think this is, I don't know how many years, I think this is the 4th or 5th year they've been over in Ireland.
Yeah.
This might be the best game out of all of them. Last year was really good.
Yeah.
It's going to have to really compete with last year. But here's what's last year. Georgia Tech went in there and beat Florida State. And they thought, oh, they're the number 10 team in the nation. What an upset. Well, come to find out, Florida State sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would they win 2 games last year? So that really wasn't quite of an upset as what we all entailed at the beginning of the year. But I mean, these are 2 teams that are Big 12 contenders for the title. I mean, this could come down to, right off the bat of who's going to win the Big 12.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think Iowa State, it'll be exciting to see. And guys, for all these people out there, you don't know what the fuck this team's going to look like. And pardon my French, but you don't know. You don't know. You don't know until they start snapping the ball. And also, too, this Ireland situation is people don't understand that the field's different. Like, we see this in the NFL. When they go play in different countries, the field is different. The atmosphere is different. Everything's different. So what could be a home field advantage or something like that, it's gone. It is gone. I mean, I remember watching the Vikings play, it was the Jets last year, and them talking about switching cleats halfway through the game because they wasn't tracking. That doesn't happen when you come play at your home place or other place. So I think this game is up for question.
That's the difference between playing on a soccer field and a regular football field. I think these fields they're slicker. These soccer fields are a little more slicker.
It's the difference between real grass and turf.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, even D3, like the college I played at, they had turf. Like, I think we played at one college that had real grass. And it's a whole different ballgame. But no, I definitely agree. This is the game to watch. It'll be exciting. It kind of gives us a little appetizer. You know what I mean? Just a little sample taste. And then we get into next week where week 1 is going to be outrageously great. So I'm ready for that. But other college football news, and we got to talk about this team right behind us right there. They decided on who the starting quarterback is going to be, and that is C.J. Carr. Obviously, you may know his grandpa. I didn't know who his grandpa was. But
you know what, Anthony? I really didn't know that his grandpa was Lloyd Carr, the coach of Michigan.
Yeah,
I didn't either until I just found out this week.
Yeah, and like when everyone was like, oh, he's coming from a legendary background, it was like, Derek Carr? Is it a cousin? Like what? Like I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But what do you think about him being the starting quarterback for Notre Dame this year?
I think it's going to – I think they're worried why they went with him is because he's got the arm. And they've got the wide receivers out there on the edges that could go down the field. And I think they want a quarterback that could throw the ball down the field. Now, Riley Leonard couldn't do it last year. I'm sorry. He couldn't throw the ball more than 20 yards. This guy is going to be able to stretch the field. And I think that's what give him the – now, don't say that – and I'm not saying that – I think Minshew's going to get some playing time this year. I really do. I think they're going to put him in some different packages during the game, and maybe he runs a series or 2 because I think – and to see how C.J. Carr does. But I think they went with C.J. Carr because he's got a strong arm, and I think he could throw the ball down the field and stretch the defenses.
Yeah, like when people talk about quarterback competitions, it's always like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Like it's good to have a good competition. It's just hoping you're not getting a competition of like shit and less shit. You're hoping you're getting good and great. I think Notre Dame this year, it'd be great to get that ball down the field. The O-line is not as good as it was last year. I'm straight up. With injuries already happening, but doesn't mean they can't be as good as they were at one point. That O-line, I think the defense, the DBs are as good as they were last year, obviously, but like the D-line isn't as good. I think the biggest conversation and the biggest topic for Notre Dame, whether they're going to be a playoff team or not, comes down to C.J. Carr. Yeah. Notre Dame relied on Riley Leonard for so many third down runs. And is that something we can do this year with C.J. Carr? Or are we going to even be kind of in those predicaments because we're able to throw the ball? That opens up the run. Love this year should have a huge year. Yeah. But only if we have the passing game going. What helped our running game last year was you had to either worry about the quarterback or the running back. Right. This year, it just needs to be worrying about whether we're going to throw the ball deep on you or make a play. Because that's what the difference of SEC, Big Ten, and Notre Dame football is. We got to be able to score points and do it like that.
Yep. Well, and that's another thing too, Anthony. They're going to put. I think they're going to have 8-9 men in the box because they're going to try to stop Love and make C.J. Carr beat you down the field. They are good because I don't know how well of a runner is, but I know he's got a strong arm. But Jeremiah Love's, an All-American, preseason All-American. They're going to load the box and stop him, and they're going to make C.J. Carr beat him throwing the ball down the field.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, there's even Heisman talks when it comes to Love. There's a lot of conversation on what to expect. I will say I'm so excited for him to start jumping over people. I mean, just the every time he does it, you're going, because you just don't want him to get injured. But and I think we gave Riley Leonard a lot of shit last year. I do believe that if Notre Dame didn't have Riley Leonard, they're not in the national championship. There was, I mean, that first drive against Ohio State was on the back of Riley Leonard. Unfortunately, I just think it wiped him out for the rest of the game on that first drive alone. But yeah, so good luck, Notre Dame. We got to win national championship. I'd be happy with it, but I'm a little bit more doubtful this year. Yeah. Speaking of national titles, Auburn's out here just saying that one's ours, that one's ours, this one. They decided that they're claiming 4 more national titles. They've claimed the 1910, the 1914, the 1958, and the 2004. I mean, I was, in 4th grade for 2004, but who the hell gave a shit in 1910? Now, the stats and the history is what's against everyone on being like, did they deserve it? Because the only thing I could find was 1914, they only played 8 games. They lost 1. They ended up like 20th or something like that, and they said that they should have won it that year. 1958, Auburn ended up 4th in the final rankings. Last time I knew that's 3-2. That's not 1. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in 2004, which this one, I kind of agree with this one. They went undefeated, 13-0, but was not including the national championship because if you remember, that was before the playoffs. That was just 2 teams getting picked out they did not get selected because they didn't beat Alabama by enough points. They only beat them by 8, which that, again, sounds crazy because Alabama losing to Auburn. But what did you think when you heard about these national titles that Auburn's now claiming, even though they have no trophy in their case?
All right. Is Auburn just reaching for straws? Oh, we could have won this one. We could have won that one. I remember another team down, I think it was UCF, that said they were the champions or the national champions because they went 13-0. Hey, I'm sorry. The thing is not flawless. We do have, I think we have something closer to what we need to be at, but back then we didn't. It was by the voters were the reporters and the AP and the UPI. I don't know if the UPI was back then. And the coach, I mean, that's how they had a BCS. Yeah. They had a group of people that was voting on it. And that's how they made it in. That's how you made it to the national. That one year that Notre Dame played Alabama, and they had no business in that game.
Yep.
I mean, Alabama showed them they had no business in that game. It's just, I don't know. I think they're hoping that this year in Auburn, which they have said that Hugh Freeze might be on the hot seat because if he doesn't get that program, I think this is year 3 or 4 with him. If he don't get this program turned around, he might be out as well.
Yeah, well, and I laugh because Auburn, all these people are like, Auburn, you can't do this. Well, Alabama's done it, and Alabama's is the highest national championship. Now, the 2004, I will say that one I do feel a little bit more of. I don't think you can. I don't understand how you can claim a national championship. I'm just going to say that right off the bat because Notre Dame, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we not out? As a fan of Notre Dame, I'm claiming last year as national championship winners. Okay, I know we lost. But we were undefeated, in the playoffs. So until the last game. So technically, no, this is dumb. Okay, just back up on that. 2004, they did go undefeated. They would have played USC, which USC ended up playing Oklahoma, spanked them. I mean, just beat the piss out of them. If I'm not wrong, I think that's Sam Bradford's year at Oklahoma.
I think you're right.
And that would have been
Orange Bowl. I think they played him in the Orange Bowl for the national championship. And Liner just tore him up.
Yeah, that was Liner, Reggie Bush. That was that whole squad. I do think Auburn obviously might have had a chance in that game. But again, you didn't line up and play them, and you didn't beat them. So I don't understand how you get to claim these. I now, going forward, this is all new to me. I will only speak to when you have it as a trophy in a case on a national championship. Because now finding out that Alabama did this pre-Bear era, supposedly, what are you talking about? Were people even talking and writing back then? Pre-Bear era? Like, what is this?
Bryant? Yeah.
Yes. Like, what are you talking about? Do these people even have pants on? Like,
right.
You just can't do that shit. But I think Auburn saying that Alabama. I also found out a little interesting facts too when I was watching or looking this stuff up, that Auburn and Alabama didn't play each other for a while because of bad blood on that situation. And I wonder, and if you're out there watching it and you know more about it, tell me, I guess, comment. But was this during the phase of when the tree went down, when they killed the tree?
Right.
And because that was like a big monumental moment.
Yeah, but I think that was not. That was probably within the last 20 or 30 years with that tree.
Yeah, because
I don't think it was back that far. I don't think so.
Because I think this was during the 50s or 40s or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that tree deal was. I think that was like in early 2000s, maybe even.
Yeah, I mean this was back,
or even maybe in the 90s.
Yeah, Leo DiCaprio was Great Gatsby. Like, Jesus Christ! But all right,
one more thing. I don't know. Have you seen the Triple Option podcast where Urban Meyer has said that? Where's the coach from Michigan? He used to be the coach. Jim Harbaugh should get sanctions or be suspended in the NFL because of his dealing with at Michigan. He's suggesting that Roger Goodell should suspend him so many games because Jim Tressel, remember the Jim Tressel Terrell Pryor deal? And that year after that, he went to be looking at film for Indianapolis Colts, and that commissioner, I think it might have been Goodell at that time, told me he couldn't do it for the first 6 games. And he's petitioning now that Goodell should suspend Harbaugh because that commissioner back at that time said, we will honor anything that comes from the NCAA. If he goes anywhere else, we will honor whatever they're doing. And he thinks that he should honor that as well.
Dude, Goodell. Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer? Yeah. Like, are we all just going to forget what he did at Florida? Like, are we going to act like
at Jacksonville? At Jacksonville?
Well, not even Jacksonville. No. What he did in college.
Yeah, right.
Urban Meyer in Florida ran away from, he had migraines and health and went to Ohio State, which then did some fuckery in Ohio State, which then had to get, every time that Urban Meyer's left has been under scandalous activity.
Yeah.
So for him to be talking about Harbaugh is hilarious.
All he's doing is stirring up the pot between Ohio State and Michigan. That is all he's doing, doing that bullshit.
But at the same time, I do agree, though, and we've talked about this on the last podcast. If there's no punishment, then why is not everyone cheating? Why? There's no I don't understand that. I think it's hilarious that people can do things wrong in this world, and if you're big enough, you can just say, I decline to speak about this. But if I go into work tomorrow and I'm just shitting on the floor everywhere, I can't just be I don't want to speak about this.
Right.
I don't want to do this. But even from Myles Garrett to going 100 miles an hour for the 8th fucking time, come on, and then Harbaugh being I don't want to speak about it. Well, you know what? Everyone else is having to speak about it, so you speak about it. But Urban Meyer doing it is hilarious.
I know. I heard that. I heard that today. I went, what a hypocrite. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
You gotta just keep your mouth shut.
And I think Urban Meyer, he's going to have a fun year this year because you get him up there on that Fox kickoff.
All with Portnoy?
Get little Dave up there, and Dave's going to give it to him.
Yeah.
I don't see this. I don't see it working very well at all. I really, Urban Meyer's not. Right. I mean, unless he's got a girl sitting on his lap. That's the only time I've ever seen him.
That was at a not Applebee's. What was that? The Hooters?
Was it? I thought it was at some bar, but got some 18, 19-year-old sitting on his lap. Oh, go Urban. All right. Well, that is the college football and NFL. But before we leave, we do have some games happening. So I want to get Tim's favorite bets of the weekend. What are your favorite bets, or give me some stats of how I should bet?
I'll tell you what, the game of the weekend is Iowa State, Kansas State. Both teams, like we said before, true Big Ten title. I think the key to Iowa State is they have to use the running attack. They've got 2 good runners in Hassan and somehow 1-2 punch. If they need to keep the ball away from Avery Johnson. If they could keep the ball away from Avery Johnson, I think they've got a shot at it. Both teams have good quarterbacks in Johnson and Beck. Everybody's jumping on Kansas State. I think it's a 3-point. I think Kansas State's given 3, but I think Iowa State comes in and beats them by a smidge. So I think they cover. Last year, Iowa State was the number 1 pass defense in the country and only allowed 3 touchdowns last year in their 29-21 win. Avery Johnson connected on just 43% of his passes, and then in that loss. So I think it's Iowa State as my favorite. to win the Big 12. I think they win by just that much.
Yeah, this game.
They win outright.
Yeah, this game could definitely go. So you're saying money line, looking at money line on that one, or get the points just in case. I definitely agree. I was actually looking at the UNLV Idaho State earlier this week. I think UNLV is like giving 26.5 or something like that. It's a lot of points, but like, where the fuck is Idaho State at? Like against UNLV, UNLV like had big recruits coming in and all this other. Like Idaho State, I think they just blow the brakes off the team. Like so I like that one. It's a lot of points, but no, that goes into this weekend of college football. Week 0 is upon us. We will be back on Sunday where we're recording for a Monday episode that you will get to see. We will talk college football. Lisa will be back because everyone loves Lisa. And we will give a little bit of what happened through the weekend. Also, there's preseason NFL. Final wrap-ups of some of these teams. We'll kind of get to see who makes the team, who doesn't, and things like that, or possible trades. But if you like what Cover 2 Cook does, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever we got out there. And you can follow us on YouTube, okay? So if you like what we do, follow us on there as well. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your college football, and we'll be back on Monday. Bye!